All right, welcome back. We are here at the Cluboratory at Miles of Golf. I am joined by one of our expert club fitters, Joe Deere. Joe, what's up?
How's it going, man?
Today we are looking at a brand new driver from Ping. It is their G430 Max 10K. Joe, what does that 10K stand for?
It's their MOI. It's 10,000 units of MOI. So essentially, in layman's terms, it's the most forgiving driver that they make.
Yep.
Ping is known for their forgiveness. You'll notice like the G400 Max, one of the greatest drivers they've ever made. I would say this is probably the closest comparison to that. Every time we get a G400 Max in here, someone wants to replace, I mean, that's essentially...
It's hard to do.
We'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So I think this is going to be Ping's best shot at getting the players out of that driver into a new one.
We've had the G430 line for a little bit, right? We've had it for about over a year now.
Yep.
We have the G430 LST, the G430 Max, and then the SFT.
Yep.
Where does this driver fit into that line?
So this kind of falls in between the LST and the Max. So essentially, like if you look at it from the top line, it looks like the LST, they just stretched it out as far as they could go. Yep. It is still 460 cc, so it is conforming and all that. But essentially, they stretched that out as much as they can, moved as much weight as they could in the back to make it as stable as possible.
What's something different about this driver? Again, because we've seen 460 cc's from them.
Yep.
What's something different about this driver that we haven't seen in that lineup?
Yeah, so in all the lineups for the 430, they all have the adjustable weight in the back. This one is not. This is completely fixed weight. It is that way purely for the forgiveness. Once you start moving that around, you start moving the forgiveness around. So they wanted just to take that completely out of play. You can get a different weight in there if you want to go higher or lower, depending on what you're doing with swing weight. But you can move that, but you can't actually move it physically from left to right.
So you play the LST right now, right?
Correct. Yeah, I play 10.5, doctored up a little bit, just fit me a little bit better. But the 10.5 LST. Yeah.
So we've matched all the specifications as close as we can with this driver.
Yep.
Same shaft, again, same doctored up loft that we're trying to do.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see how this is going to perform compared to the LST, especially in speed. Because we know that when you make the head a little bit smaller, you push center of gravity forward.
For sure.
Theoretically, you're going to get a little bit more ball speed behind that.
Yeah.
What they did in this driver head to kind of keep up with the speed of an LST is they have that same carbon fly wrap technology.
Yep.
And they've thinned out the face a little bit. The same as an LST.
Yep.
Once I saw that Ping was making this driver, I got really excited, very selfishly, because this is a driver that would fit me perfectly. Obviously, everybody wants to get as much speed out of a driver as they
Sure.
can. But forgiveness is key. I mean, forgiveness is hitting fairways. This splits that right in the middle where,
Yep.
hey, I want to hit the ball far and I want to hit the ball straight.
For sure.
All right, let's see you hit that a couple times. I think that's about as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And you normally play a draw, so we're going to see that shot shape right there.
Yep. Typical ball flight there. Seem to go a little bit higher, which I like. For me, I don't hit the ball super far, so most people don't know, but the higher you launch it, lower you spin it, the ball should go further. So for me, if I can get that ball as high as possible, it's just more distance for me.
Just hung that one out a little bit.
Yeah, and that off the toe, that performed better than I thought it would.
Awesome. Still got a lot of distance from that too, off the toe.
And what I like is that it didn't snap hook. Most of the time you hit one off the toe like that, that ball's going left and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. That's money. I'd take 14 of those in a round.
Yeah. It's a little block, but again, that's a very playable ball.
You might go from being a draw player to a straight player with this.
Hey, whatever gets me in the fairway.
Because again, relative to where we have the TrackMan right now, you're aiming a little bit right because you're expecting it to come back left.
Yeah.
Those are pretty much going dead straight where you're aiming. I like to see that.
Perfect.
In the business, that's what we call a really good miss.
Yeah, 100%.
It's a really good miss.
What I like about the driver, most people from the past think of a Ping driver that is very loud, very tinny, very pingy. The G430 line completely got rid of that. This sounds great. It looks really good. Some people don't like that bigger head, but bigger head just means more forgiveness. If you can get past that, this driver should be a no-brainer to put in the bag.
So let's kind of take a jump into the numbers a little bit. We said this was a little bit higher spinning than what the LST was going to be.
Yep.
And you averaged right at 3,300, which we had that one miss at the very end. We caught it a little low on the face, so those numbers are going to be skewed a little bit. So seeing it spin at 3,300, I don't mind that.
No.
Again, a little bit more spin isn't bad. So many people, when they talk about spin, they want to see it on the lower end to maximize distance.
For sure.
But the ball's also going to become unstable at that point. We want a little bit more spin as opposed to less to make sure you're still hitting those fairways. Before we hit record, we had you hit some of your driver, the LST, to warm up a little bit. Let's see how the spin compared to that. Again, with your LST, again, your driver, you were pretty much right where we want to be at 2,300. It's really good.
Yeah.
If we're looking at launch conditions, you launched it at 12 at 2,300. That's about perfect.
Yeah.
Looking at this, the 10K, you launched it at 12 against exact same launch angle, which is really good to see. Just a little bit higher spin.
Yeah.
With the 10K, distance-wise, you average about 240 in the air, 12 degrees of launch at 3,000 RPMs of spin. All pretty much what we would expect with this driver.
Yeah.
Comparing that to your driver, the LST that we hit before we pressed record, 12 degrees of launch, 2,300 RPMs of spin. Again, lower spinning head, that's going to happen. But same exact numbers pretty much in terms of carry. And what we did see actually with the 10K was a little bit tighter dispersion. With your LST, we saw it go left a little bit, we saw it go right. This one actually went a lot straighter compared to where you were aimed.
Which is totally expected.
Yep.
Like I said, with that weight being all the way in the back, that club head doesn't want to twist as much. Less twisting should result into a straighter ball flight.
Just give me your final thoughts on this driver.
Love the feel, love the sound. It's straight. That's their biggest thing. They're not going to make a driver that deviates from their plan, which is to hit a straight drive. It does exactly that. Distance on it is good. It's going to be good for that player that is looking for an upgrade. Maybe they have something a little bit older. Maybe this could actually finally beat the G400 Max that they came out with. So we'll see, but all in all, I love it.
All right, well, that about wraps it up. Thank you guys very much for watching. If there's other clubs or other video ideas that you want us to do, leave that in the comments below. But other than that, thank you guys very much for watching. See you later.